Standard 2.4, describe the structure and function of accessory structures, including hair, nails, sweat glands, and sebaceous glands. What type of epithelial cells are sebaceous glands lined with? Sebaceous glands, which are the glands that share the same hole as hair, are going to be lined with cuboidal cells, and they're going to be stratified cuboidal. They're going to be layered. If you look right here, there's a bunch of these cuboidal cells all next to each other. So stratified cuboidal. Those are the epithelial cells they're lined with. Stratified cuboidal. What is the function of sebaceous glands? They're going to release sebum. Sebum is a liquid and oily substance that's going to get released from the glands into the hair and get sent out onto the surface of your skin. And that oil is going to keep you hydrated. That's why when you shower and wash off your sebum, you need to put on lotion to keep your skin moisturized. Because without sebum, your skin won't be hydrated, so you need to put something else on there. If we left our sebum on our skin, it works really well at keeping us, the oils work really well at keeping us hydrated. But we can wash them off and put something else on instead. Again, the function of sebum, sebaceous glands, is to release, so these glands right here, right up next to hair, are going to release sebum to keep the skin hydrated and keep it from getting dried out. What type of epithelial cells are sweat glands lined with? Sweat glands, in this awesome picture right here, that are we're going through the epidermis and down into the dermis, and low into the dermis we have the sweat glands. Sweat glands are going to be lined with, let me give you a text. Sweat glands are going to be lined with stratified cuboidal cells again, stratified cuboidal cells. Stratified cuboidal cells. They're going to be cuboidal cells, and there's going to be layers of them. I could give you a more complicated answer about how some parts are lined with simple cuboidal, some are layered, but just know stratified cuboidal is fine. Cuboidal cells are going to line the sweat glands in here, and so the liquid is going to come up in between them. Those are the epithelial cells that they're lined with, stratified cuboidal. What is the function of sweat glands? Sweat glands release sweat to cool the skin and body down. So the sweat gland is going to release sweat all the way up here, this little bubble of sweat. That's going to evaporate, and our skin is going to cool down. It's going to get colder. So we do this, that's why when you increase your body temperature by exercising, you start to sweat. You know this just from life experience, right? To cool down, you sweat and it evaporates and you get cold. Their function is to make that sweat and release that liquid out of the skin so you can get cooled down. What happens to cells in the hair root? The hair root is going to be this lower part of hair. It is going to, epithelial cells in the hair bulb, which is the very bottom here, are going to reproduce, divide into more cells, and push them upward to become hair cells. So I have cells here that are going to divide, make a few more, and then one's going to get pushed up, and it's going to start making new hair. In the hair root, cells go through the keratinization process, just like in the epidermis. So they're going to go become keratinized as they go further and further up the hair. So cells start here and they're alive and they're normal. They start making that keratin and getting dried out, and eventually they're going to become fully keratinized. In the hair root, the keratinization starts. In the hair shaft, cells are finally keratinized. So right here, they die. They reproduce right here. Cells reproduce and get pushed out. They start getting keratinized. Then they finally die. And then it's the hair shaft. So this is the part that comes out you see out of your skin, and it goes a little below the surface. This is dead. The cells are dead here, but they're strong and protective, so that if they're exposed to the outside world, they don't get infected or destroyed easily. So in the hair shaft, cells are finally keratinized and they die. And the boundary between the hair shaft and root is just when they're finally dead. And it's just going to be part way up the upper part of the dermis. What are two functions of hair? Hair is going to keep us warm. It traps heat. So these hairs sticking out. If you've ever seen a cat or a dog that's got a lot of hair, fluff it all out, that acts like a little coat. We wear fur coats too because it keeps us warm. That hair keeps us warm. Sorry, we wear fake fur coats because we don't like to kill animals. Remember that. Anyways, so we have fur or hair, and that will trap heat in on our skin surface, and that will keep us warm, give us heat. Hair can also give us more sensitivity. So these nerves are going to connect to the bottom of hair, right here. And when the hair moves, say that a bug lands and moves the hair, as that is going to get detected down at the very bottom by a nerve, and that signal is going to get sent to my brain. And I'm going to know, oh my gosh, there's a bug on me, I need to smack it, and I'm going to slap that bug. Without the hair, this little light bug's going to land on my skin, and I'm not going to have any nerves detecting it necessarily. It'll be harder to detect. This sensitivity that I get from the hairs is helpful. Think of a cat, whiskers. They have those long whiskers so they can detect more things. Sensitivity. We also use hair for protection. Think of the top of your head. The hair acts like if you rub your head on something, it doesn't get scratched, right? This is because the hair acts like a little soft covering. It's not a lot of protection, but it does provide some. If you run your hand over your skin doesn't get touched so much as the hair does. Some protection. So keeps us warm, gives us sensitivity, because when the hair gets moved, the nerves are going to send signals to the brain, and it gives us protection. What happens to cells on the nail root? So just like the epidermis and just like hair, nails are made out of keratinized cells, meaning in the nail root, epithelial cells are going to divide and make more cells. So starting here, cells are going to divide, and new ones are going to get made and pushed out to be the nail. And they're going to start going through the keratinization process. That is the nail root. Cells get pushed out, and they start going through the the keratinization process to die and be strong and protective. In the nail body, cells are fully keratinized and they die. So it's about here, but coming out, the part you can see of your nail is dead. They're fully keratinized and they're strong and protective. So in the nail body, cells become fully keratinized and die. What are two functions of nails? So nails are going to protect your fingertips. The very edge of your fingertips, if you've ever lost a nail, you know it's you wish you had them because it hurts, right? And without having those nails there. You can use your nails to scratch like a hard tool, right? We don't have any other parts of our body really that are that hard, and nails can be that scratching thing for us. We can use it for precision things like pulling out a splinter. If you want to get a tiny splinter and you don't have tweezers on hand and you have long nails, you can use those nails like precision tools, so like small things that are hard to grab with just your fingers. You need your nails. You can also feel more with your nail. You have sensitivity on both sides. If something presses on my finger right here, my nail is going to feel that I'm going to get sensitivity because if I press up against the nail, the nerves on the other side are going to feel that as the nail gets pressed upward. I will feel that here too. So your fingertip will be more sensitive because the nail acts like an extra It adds sensitivity because nerves are going to be able to feel the nail moving too, just like hair, right? So sensitivity on both sides. We want that on our fingertips because the part of our body that touches everything, right? We use our hands to grab everything. We want it to be sensitive to take care of it. You will be asked to draw and label these things on your box for 2.2. Hair bulb, root, shaft, sweat glands, sebaceous glands. So, to draw the hair bulb, you should just draw your hair, right? It comes out of the skin and comes down into the dermis, the reticular layer of the dermis, so low down. You should draw this little bulb right here. You can just draw hair and coming out and making a little circle here at the end. The hair bulb is just going to be the lower part. To the hair root is just going to be the part above that. And then your hair shaft is just going to be the upper part. So draw your hair coming down, a little tube thing. You can draw this too if you want to be more accurate. You can draw coming down from the epidermis. But it's okay, you can just draw the hair coming down and draw that circle. The bulb is down below. The hair root is above that. And then the hair shaft is above that. And make sure your hair comes out of your skin. Sweat glands. You can draw sweat glands by drawing this long tube running all the way from the top of your skin down deep into the dermis, the reticular layer at least. Your sweat glands, and you just draw a bunch of coils and circles. And those are your sweat glands. That's that simple. Draw that tube and draw those circles. It's the tube coming all the way out of the skin. Sebaceous glands. You should draw a gland next to the hair. So the same tube, the same hole that hair has to get out of the skin is the hole that sebaceous glands use to get their sebum out. So draw sebaceous glands next to the hair, right? This coils and tubes. I can show you a better picture. Sebaceous glands. Here we go. Not that. Gosh. Sebaceous glands. So here again, right? We've got that tube, that coil. That's up next to here and shares the same tube. Same thing here. It'll be a coil. Tube like sweat glands. It looks like sweat glands, but just right up next to hair, right? And that's it. That is standard 2.4. Describe the structure and function of accessory structures, including hair, nails, sweat glands, and sebaceous glands.